Slammed on the brakes for the light system to get on the highway, which wasn't active. There's no red light for it to slam on, so not a great start. Don't work too well. So let's see when they want to come on here. And this lane ends. So, and it seems to know that. Just depends when it's going to indicate. How last minute it's going to leave it. At the moment it's looking pretty late. Wipers are on auto mode, they didn't come on, so I put them on just then. Itself, which was alright. I have a feeling it's probably going to try and put us over a little bit more. So we're not doing the speed limit. Speed up. Again, the wipers aren't coming on. I'd probably give them a quick wipe. The whole screen's covered. Just the one bike on the right, but it's showing as was showing as 3, 2. Look at this just on a lane assist level, it does a great job. But the lane changes and the on and off ramp, so when you start encountering stern movements, fast movements. Wants to change lanes here. We do have a car coming up. Has, I would say, that probably impeded that car. The other car probably would have had to have slowed down for it to actually make that change, so that's not ideal. And it thinks it wants to do another change. Now we've got a car coming up, it's probably going to initiate it. Try and pop in behind this car. It doesn't accelerate into a spot, I've noticed. It'll just move over and then 5 seconds later it'll sort out its speed. So that would make lane changes smoother. When there is a gap, it can accelerate into it, especially when it's not doing the speed limit already. Once the full FSD version comes out, FSD supervised, should hopefully be soon, we'll do some testing on that. If you guys have things that you'd like to see, whether it be school zones, during school zone times, different intersections. I'm based in Brisbane, certain places, once that finally comes out, let me know. We can do that. Want to push it to its limits. No point having software that you don't try and see what it can do, see what its limits are. We all know it can stay in its own lane. Everything past that, big question mark. This will be an interesting exit when it takes it. We don't have too many off ramps where we go to the right, so it's interesting. It's almost like it's seeing this shadow as a curve, and it's got us more to the left side of the lane. So it has centered itself out now. We don't have too many exits off highways to the right, so we'll see how it handles this one. Also have an additional lane of cars that can be joining. There are none coming, but this area here can get super busy. Cars changing lanes. Should come up that it wants to change lanes soon. Yeah, it's alright. Alright, we'll do that nice and smooth. It's on the autopilot here. I'd say that was fairly okay. Curvature assist active, which just give us city driving, please. That's smooth for the corner. We'll see. It's probably going to jitty here. It probably won't know what lane it wants. That was alright, actually. I initiated that lane change, it didn't want to finish it. So I'm going to take over here, otherwise we'll end up in an accident. Alright, well, I wasn't getting any close to that car, so it was probably a bit of a overreaction. I think they're going right here. So you see here, we got a right turn arrow in the right turn lane. So I just want to see how it reacts with the light, but you can actually see it is showing the right turn arrow this time, but it isn't showing the green to go straight next to it. And now we can go take over again. Those people almost ran out. Accelerate it to let us go through the green. Let's see if it stays in its lane. Yep, that's good. It didn't put the speed limit up though, so I'm going to have to do that so it accelerates, otherwise it causes a traffic jam. And it's going to put us into that lane ends there. It's a bit of a tricky one. Too bad. And the problem there was it didn't put the speed limit up, so I tried joining at 40 kilometers an hour. The speed limit up, or it registers that it's 90, but it won't allow us to do 90 without me doing that input. And there could be a setting for that, but it doesn't make sense. You should do what the speed limit says. You should be able to choose whether you go a little bit over or a little bit under, but in terms of it, cars that sit in the right hand lane and don't overtake. No reason for it. Just got back from doing a road trip, and one thing I did notice when up to the Sunshine Coast is when you're on the highway and you have an on-ramp joining, the cars that are joining, it actually slams on its brakes really hard. I did 100 to 60 So the car that would have ended up behind us because we were doing the speed limit, so it could go in front of us. So that's another thing. I mean, it's meant to work on highways somewhat here. We're obviously on an older version, but it doesn't do that. If we had a car here, this would have slammed on its brakes to a really low speed. It goes up to 100 here, so we'll probably see it register to 100, but it won't allow us to do it. And it won't change on its own, so we're going to bump that up. So the main reason for this, I understand this isn't FSD supervised and it's definitely not close to it. The main reason is so we can look back at what it could do before we got FSD supervised, how it reacts once we get FSD supervised, and all of that stuff. Now it's merging to the right here. I think that's just because the traffic in front of us is slowing down, but what's interesting is this VCS board is actually telling us to merge right because there's a hazard ahead. So I understand the car wouldn't have picked that up, but it works in its favour. Probably going to slow up here. There's a truck with flashing lights, so we'll see if it does anything. It's probably going to have to slow for the cars in front of it, but it's certainly not doing anything for that truck. This car wants to come over, so we're going to slam on the brakes here in a sec. That was the car that did that. Could have done it a lot smoother. It could have seen the cars are braking and slowed down, but instead of being proactive, it was reactive. Okay, we're not really overtaking here. I'll probably go over in the middle lane. Maybe it saw that the typical Camry driver wasn't going to do the speed limit. You got like 6 cars here sitting in the right hand lane. There's nothing to overtake. That was nice. Now the version of whatever this is running, blow that out, V12 2025.20.6, the nav doesn't matter too much. Again, it's upcoming lane change. And it wants to put us in the far left lane. You can see by this grey line. It wants to take the exit in the next 2Ks, so why put us in this lane just to overtake that one car? Doesn't make sense. You know, you can technically overtake on the left. If they're not doing the speed limit and we need this lane, it would be less driving. Wants to put us over again, so we'll see when it does that. Curvature Assist Active, which is for the lane assist, and it came up with that before it actually took the off ramp, so that's interesting. I'd actually like to see what it does in this lane.